Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this channel named Geeks for Geeks School. First of all, thank you very much for joining me at this time in this tutorial. And we guys were coding a runner game, as you guys know very well. So this is the third part we're going to code today. Let me but first show you what all things are we done defining the code for. So if I will run this code, which you're able to see on the Sublime text platform, so you will see a display window on which you will see a couple of things getting reflected. So that's the display window, and we are able to see a snail, a beautiful snail. We are able to see a background, and this is a floor I have right in the bottom of this window, and we have a player moving towards the right side. So that's what we are done defining the code for. Now it's time for us to make this game more interesting. So, I would like my player to jump. How I will do that? So what I want exactly is, if I press the spacebar key present on my keyboard, the player should jump. So what we can do, we can define a gravity kind of thing for our player, and for doing that we need a variable, right? So every time I press the spacebar key, the value of the variable should change, which should make the player jump. So let's have a variable with name player underscore gravity. I think that will do. And let's assign a value to this variable. So I have assigned this 0 value to this variable named player underscore gravity. Now we can come down, and here we are. So we are in this main game loop. So inside this, that's the one which is creating for us different frames of the game. So inside this while loop, let's define a code with which we can make the player underscore gravities variables value change by something. So let me first access the name of this variable, and now I would like the variable's value to change by 1 every time a new frame gets created. So that's the code with the help of which we can do it. Now it is not going to give us the desired output. See, I'm pressing the spacebar key, but I am not able to get anything. So how to now make the player jump with the help of the value of this player underscore gravity? So let me just tell you something first here. We have used the rectangle concept for bringing everything whatever we are able to see on the display window. For bringing all those things, we have used the rectangle concept here. Now for this player, we have this variable named player underscore rectangle, in which we have saved the rectangle on which the which is bringing for us the player and getting it reflected on the display window. So what we can do, we need to relate this player underscore rect with this player underscore gravity, right? That's what we exactly need to do for making our player jump if we press the spacebar key. So let's do that. First of all, I would like to relate the two variables. Now, how we can do that? So because if we want a player to jump, so it means that we want the player to move along the y-axis. So it should move along the y-axis in upward direction, then it should come back. That's what exactly a jump thing consists of. So we can put this player underscore rect, and then we can access the y attribute. So put y here, and I would like it to get incremented by this value. So that's how you can relate these two things. Fine. Now what I want is, if I press the spacebar key, then only I would like to see the player jumping. Okay. So for this thing we can define an if control statement, isn't it? Yes. So I am going to come here in this for loop. So here we have this if control statement with which we are checking whether the user has pressed the close window button or not. So if he will press the close window button, this quit event will occur and the game will get closed. So here we can define a code like this. So if the event dot type, so if the type of the event which has occurred is this key down, so this will this will get executed, or this will occur when the user who's playing our game will press any of the keys present on the keyboard. Okay, now we have to find out whether the key user has pressed is in spacebar key or not. So for doing that, we can simply use this if control statement again. So there is a thing called event.key, with the help of which we can find out which key the user has pressed, or we can put a check on that particular thing. So pygame dot, if we want to put a check on the spacebar key, suppose, so we can simply use this code k underscore space. So this will tell you, here what we are doing is we are checking if the key which is pressed by the user, is it the spacebar key or is it something else. So if it is equal to the spacebar key, if it is the spacebar key which the user has pressed, then what should happen? I would like the player gravity, right, to change by 20. So it should decrease by 20. Let me now run this code and see what's gonna happen. So I am able to see the game, and I just saw the player falling down. Right, means the code is working perfectly fine. Let me just show it to you again. It was an amazing animation that I just saw. Yep. So that's what we are able to see here. Fine. But I don't want that to happen. I want that my player should jump. It should go up, then it should come down. Like this I want. So let's do one thing. Let's put a check on the mouse button also. Right, but before that, we'll have to first see how can we make the player go up. So if I'll change this to 20, let's see what's gonna happen. So I have assigned it a positive value now, and it is still going down. Right, it is still going down. If I will press the spacebar key, then what will happen? It is not coming up. Let me run this game again. So if I will I'm pressing the spacebar key, nothing is happening. You know why? Because the player is going down right now. We'll not be able to bring it on the top. So now we'll have to put a code over here, with the help of which we can see the player again on the window. So instead of putting an if control statement over here, let's come down, and that's the point where we have defined a code for interrelating this player underscore rect dot y attribute with player underscore gravity. Now what we can do here, just a second, let me just make it minus 20 again. So here we can do this thing if player, okay, because I don't want to see the player going down and then it should not come back. I don't want this thing to happen, so I can put a check on this thing. So if the player rectangle, we have a player at the back side of it, we have a rectangle. So what we can do, we can check its bottom position. Fine. And now if the player's bottom position is greater than equal to 300, right, where I have taken this 300 from, I have taken it from here, right? The ground surface topmost position is 300. So the player's rectangle bottom should be greater than or equal to 300. Simple. So what should happen if it becomes greater than, sorry, it should not be what we call it, greater than 300. It should be equal to 300 or less than that. Now, if it becomes at any point of time greater than 300, then what should happen? I would like my player underscore rectangle dot bottom, it should become again equal to 300. Now that's what I would like to should happen. Now if I will run this code, let's see what's gonna happen. So player is still there. If I will press the spacebar key, I am able to see it jumping. See how beautiful it is looking, right? So that's how you can put a check on this player's movement. We are able to now make the player jump. Okay, but while jumping, it is moving in this right direction. I don't want that to happen. I don't want that to see. So in order to make the player stable, stationary, I need to remove this if control statement. Okay, I think I'll have to remove this player underscore dot left plus is equal to 1, because every time a frame is getting created, a new frame is getting created, or rather I should say like this. So the player underscore rex left value is changing by 1. It is increasing by 1. That is the reason we are able to see the player moving the right direction continuously. I am removing it from here. Now if I will run the code, let's see what's gonna happen. So now it is stationary. I'm able to make it jump. Okay, so see how beautiful it is looking. Great. Okay, now let me show you some magical codes. So as you guys know very well, for this sky surface, we haven't defined any rectangle yet. For this ground surface, we do not have any rectangle. So for these, we have used the surface codes for bringing them on the display surface, display window. And for this score part and for this player part, we are using the player part, and for this snail thing also, we have used the rectangle concept. Okay, so there are one rectangle we have defined for this score, which is making this score getting reflected like the way it is right now getting reflected on this display window on this. And here there is a rectangle, there is an invisible rectangle, you can say, which is helping us in seeing this player over here on this window, like the way it is looking. And then we have a rectangle for this snail, which is traveling for this from this left side towards the from this right side towards the left side. Okay, so we have used rectangle concept for these three things, and for these two, sky and ground, we have used the surface concept. Now if I want to let's say, if I want to see if I want to add something to my game, okay, to my game score thing. So this score underscore rectangle, that's the one which is helping us in bringing the score surface, right, on which this my game is written on the display window. Now if you want to customize it, how you will do it, so you can make use of this score underscore rec thing. Let me just do it, let me just show it to you practically, then only the things will be more clear to you. So there is a function named draw, and simply you can use this rectangle if you want to draw a rectangle, suppose. uh, so rect, it is present in this draw, and here we can pass three parameters to this function. So the first one I would like to pass is the name of the variable in which the screen is saved, and then I would like to pass the code of a color. So that's what I would like to pass as a second parameter. So C0E8EC. You will yourself come to know about the color which this code is going to give us when you will see the final output, right? And then we can use this code rectangle. Now if I will run the game, so that's what I will get to see as a final output. So there is a rectangle, there is a blue color rectangle we are able to see over here, but now that my game is not visible, right, that my game is not visible to us now. What we can do in order to get it reflected on this window, on the rectangle, we can simply cut it from here. We can put it over here like this. I think now we'll be able to see it. Let us just try it out. Yes, so my game is now getting reflected on a blue color rectangle. So blue color rectangle is just behind this my game, and we are able to see it. So that's how you can you can define, you can draw a rectangle, and on that you can put your score, your player also you can put, in order to make it look more appealing. So that's the thing which we generally do with the text part. Fine. Okay, so I hope this much code is clear to all of you. It's time for us to move to the next part, which is if suppose, see right now what is happening, if I am pressing the spacebar key, I'm able to make this player jump. But if I, what I want is if I press my this mouse button, right, and if it is touching this player, then I would like to see it jumping. So it means that I want to connect the jumping thing with both the mouse, this keyboard key as well as my mouse keys. So how can I do that? Now I have already connected the jumping thing with my this spacebar key present on my keyboard. It's time for me to connect this with my mouse key. So every time I press the mouse key, I want to see my sprite jumping. I want to see the main player of the game jumping. So again, we'll follow the same concept. We'll use this if control statement, and simply we can put this code over here, if event dot type. So we'll first check the type of event which will occur during the time when the game is in running mode. So if the event which has occurred is equal to mouse button, so this event will generally occurs mouse button down. Okay, this event generally occurs when any of the keys of the mouse is pressed. So if you will press the right click, then this event will occur. If you will press the left click, then also this event will occur. So if it is true, then what should happen? I need to check something first. So if the player rectangle, that's the one which is helping us in seeing the player on the game window. So if this player underscore rectangle collision collide point. So with the help of this, we can see the player's rectangle. You know, we can see whether it is touching our mouse or not. So it will now find out this collide point will now find out whether the mouse is touching our player's rectangle or not. Okay, and if this condition is true, and if this condition is true, the player rectangle dot bottom, I want my player to jump only if it is touching the top of the floor. Only if the rectangle of the player, the bottom of the rectangle of the player is touching the top of the floor. Let me just show you what exactly I am saying. So I want that if I click the mouse, if I click the right click or the left click, this player should only jump if this player's bottom, the rectangle of this player's, the bottom of the rectangle of this player is touching the top of this floor. So this top is ending at 300. So I need to, that's the reason why I have put this condition over here, player underscore rect dot bottom is greater than equal to 300. Then only if the mouse clicks are clicked, I want to see this player jumping. So if in order to make this player jump, we can simply pass this command over here. So the player gravity, this the value of this variable will change by 20. Right, and now let me just run this game and see what's gonna happen. So it is here. If I'm pressing the spacebar key, I'm able to make this player jump. Now if I will press the mouse, then also it is jumping, see. But if I'm pressing the mouse, if I'm keeping the mouse somewhere over here, so it's not touching the player right now. That is the reason we are not able to see, we are not able to make it jump. The moment I'll come down over here on this player and click here, see, it is jumping. I am able to make it jump. Fine. So that's how you that's how with the help of the mouse clicks, you can make your player jump. I hope this code is clear to all of you. Now the next thing that we need to do is we need to put a check on the collision part. Right. Now how we will do that? I'm giving you some time to think. If you guys can please let me know in the comment section that what is the code with the help of which we can put a check on the collision part So it will be great. And please do not forget to like and share this video in your groups and make it reach to the maximum students possible, please. And thank you to all the students who are really doing it. Thank you very much for putting it so much of effort and you know, liking and sharing our videos. You are the people who are regularly watching my videos. Thank you so very much. Just because of you, I am gaining a little bit of popularity on daily basis. Definitely the things are going to some better things are going to come in my way very soon, just because of you guys. Okay, let us do it together now. So what I am doing, in order to put a check on the collision part, we can come down here, and again we are going to make use of this if control statement. So if the snail rectangle, as I've told you, we have used the rectangle concept for the snail thing also, so as to bring it and get it reflected on the display window. So if at any point of time the snail's rectangle, there is a function named collide rect. I have told you about this function in the previous, in that lecture also, in which we designed that Flappy Bird game. So with the help of this, you can check the collision happening in between two or more rectangles. So if at any point of time the snail's rectangle will collide directly, right, collide direct with this player's rectangle. So what is the name of the variable in which the player's rectangle is being created? So it is, I think, player underscore rect. So if it happens at any point of time, then what should happen? I would like my game to get closed. So what we can do, we can simply copy these two lines of code and we can put it over here like this. Right now, the moment the snail will collide with the player, let's see what's gonna happen. So, okay, so the game window just closed automatically because the player was in. See, the snail was overlapping the player. That's the reason the game is closing automatically. Let me do one thing. Uh, put a, Let me comment them out. Okay, now if I will run the game, the snail has gone, and let me do now if I will run this code. See, the game is getting closed automatically. It's just because the snail is in contact with the player. It is overlapping the player. Let me do one thing. Let me just change the position of the snail. So our snail is at this position right now. If I'll change it to 10, let's see what's gonna happen. Okay, so now it is fine. So the moment it collided with the player's rectangle, the window got closed and we are back on this coding window. So that's how you can put a check on the collision part. Fine. Now let me tell you one more thing. See, if suppose you if suppose you want to define a screen, what I want is, if at any point of time the snail collides with a player, I want to get the user redirected on some other screen. How we will do that? So let's do one thing. Let's put a code over here. See, screen dot fill. So that's the code with the help of which you can fill the what we call it, the display window with some color. So I would like to see this color 25, 223 and 224. Let me comment these two lines out. Now if I will run the game, let's see what's gonna happen. So the moment the snail will collide with this player, okay, we are getting this error. Now why we are getting this error? Invalid rect style object. Okay, I think we cannot use it like the way I have used it here. Let's do one thing. Let's use some other concept. Let me first close it from here. Okay, and instead of using this directly, I am going to define a variable, let's say game active. So it is going to help us in finding out whether the game is on or not. Active, and I'm assigning it this what we call it, boolean value true. So game active is equal to true. Now if this game active is equal to true, I would like to see the game on, otherwise it should get closed automatically. Now we need to come down here, and so we can enclose, everything which we have defined here inside an if control statement, which can help us in checking the status of game active variable. So, and besides that, I would like everything to get updated regularly. So what we can do, we can use this simple code. uh, I hope you guys are well aware of this code, which is pygame dot display dot update. So whatever you will define inside this and this while loop, it will get updated regularly for each and every frame that the while loop will create for us. So what I am doing, I am selecting everything from this point till this point, and let me just indent it. So convert indentation to, sorry, where is that thing with the help of which we can change it to indent? I am not in incremental, fine, no, not this one. I think now it is fine, yeah. Okay, so what I would like to do here is, I would like to put it inside the if control statement. If, right, so if the game underscore active, this is true. Let me indent, let me convert the indentations to tab. Okay, now it is perfectly fine. So if this condition is true, then everything I have defined over here should be executed. Let me now check whether I am going to get the required output or not. So I'm getting the required output. So the moment this nail will hit this player, the window will get closed just because of this code I have over here. Right. Okay, now what should happen? I don't want my game to depend on these two lines of code. I don't want that the game should get closed. Uh, the closing of the game, I don't want that to depend on these two things. So I'm eliminating these things, and let me make it dependent on the value of the variable game active. So the moment the player will collide with this nail, the value of this should become false. And now let's see what's gonna happen when the player will collide with this nail over here. Okay, so nothing is happening now. We'll have to check why we are not able to get the required output. Just a second, let me close the window. Uh, Over here we have this game active. This is perfectly fine. The game active here, it is equal to true, right? And if it will become false, then what should happen? So okay, I think the game will stop. I think this is perfectly fine because we haven't defined anything for this. If the game active will be false, then what should happen? We haven't defined anything for this. That's the reason we are able to see the sprite going stationary, because the game will not begin till the time the game active variable's value become equal to true. Now, instead of making it equal to true, what we can do, we can define an else part for this if. What I want is the moment the snail collide with the player, the main player with which we are playing the game, the user should get redirected to some other window let's say the user should get redirected to a window which is yellow in color. So what we can do here in this to make that kind of thing, we can use this screen dot fill what we call it code, and then we can fill the screen with yellow color. So I've put the value yellow over here, and let's see what's going to happen when the snail will now collide with the player. So the moment the snail will collide with the player, okay, so we are getting a yellow screen. Why? Because the game active value is false. Is it colliding with the player? Okay, we are able to see something happening here. It's because the snail is in contact with this player over here. I don't want that to happen initially. Let me just change the position of my snail. Where is that snail rectangle? Okay, I am changing it to 400. Now let's see what's gonna happen if I will run the game. Okay, so we are able to see that yellow screen, but it is not looking perfectly fine. There is something which we are missing. So if game active should become false, this is fine. Okay, I think we need to remove this, and instead in place of this we can put this code. So if the game active is equal to false, then this should happen. I think that will work. Let me just check it. Okay, yeah, it is working perfectly fine. So that's how you can create a completely new screen. I hope you are getting my point. So now if I will run this code, what is happening? My snail is coming from here, and the moment it touches the player with which we are playing the game, we get redirected to a yellow screen. So we have two different screens now. What is happening is the background is getting removed, and in place of that we are able to see this yellow color screen. Right, that's the kind of thing you can create with this simple code. What I did is I put this whole code inside this game active thing. That's the condition, and initially this game active is true. So the moment it will become false, the screen will fill with a yellow color. So this is how you can create different windows, and that's the perfect way you can define what we call it a check on the collision path. So this is it from my side in this lecture. I hope you guys enjoyed this one a lot. Please do not forget to like and share this video, and also please do not forget to subscribe to the channel if you want to get notifications of the classes we schedule on daily basis on this channel. Thank you very much for being there with me in this tutorial. And if you want to avail the coding classes facility, you guys are most welcome to contact me on my phone number. You can find it on the channel name Geeks for Geeks School. Sorry, on my channel, which is Gaurav Kumar channel. Right, just get in touch with me if you want to learn these things and you want me to entertain you individually or in a group coding class, right, which I take on Zoom. Thank you very much and have a great day. Bye bye, everyone.